Your dog knew you were leaving today before you even touched your keys. They picked up the shift in your body chemistry, they clocked your shoes, and they watched your routine like a script they've memorized down to the second. The moment that door closed behind you, something happened that you have never seen because you weren't there to see it. Stay with me through all 7 of these, because number 7 will change how you feel about walking out that door. Welcome to Dog Bond. If you're new here, subscribe right now, because every video on this channel exists to help you understand the animal who understands you better than you think. Number 1. Your dog knew you were leaving before you did. You assume the goodbye starts when you grab your bag, but your dog would disagree with that completely. Up to 300 million olfactory receptors line the inside of a dog's nose, compared to about 5 million in yours, which means their sense of smell operates at roughly 10,000 to 100,000 times the power of your own. And that's what makes this next part so unsettling. Even before you stand up, your dog may already be noticing tiny changes in your scent, your posture, your movement, and your breathing. You don't register any of it, but your dog is built to detect small shifts in the people around them, and those shifts start well before you reach for the door. Then come the rituals, the jingling keys, the jacket off the hook, the phone slipped into a pocket. Dogs have roughly the cognitive capacity of a 2-year-old child and can understand somewhere between 160 and 250 words. But they don't need language for this. They've watched you rehearse this exact departure sequence hundreds of times, and they know the choreography better than you do. By the time you actually say goodbye, your dog processed that information minutes ago. They were already preparing, already watching, already feeling the shift. You thought you were being casual about leaving, but to them, you weren't casual at all. Number 2, the first thing they do is check. Most owners never consider this part. Your dog does not simply accept that you're gone, they go and verify it. Behavioral observations show that after an owner leaves, dogs move through the house in what amounts to a search pattern, checking rooms, walking to windows, sniffing near the door, actively confirming that their human has actually left. None of that movement is random wandering. Think about what that tells you. Your dog hears the door close, and their first instinct is not to accept it, but to make sure. They pass through the spots where you usually sit, they check the bathroom, they might stand at the window and scan the street for a few minutes. Only after they've confirmed the absence do they settle. And even then, the settling looks different than you'd expect. Which brings us to number 3. This one surprised me more than anything else in the research. Number 3. Most dogs don't destroy the house, they just wait for you. This is the part that breaks people open. A video-based study tracked 77 dogs, 32 living in single-dog homes and 45 in multi-dog homes, recording what they actually did when left alone. Dogs showed low physical activity and low vocal activity across the board. They weren't tearing up the couch or howling at the walls. They were lying down, resting, and watching the door, just waiting. A pet camera video went viral in early 2025 that captured exactly this. An owner had set up the camera expecting to catch her dog chewing up the house, but what the footage showed instead was her dog Pickle calmly lying in different parts of the home for the entire time she was gone. The caption told the whole story. He was just waiting for us to get home, and the comments section filled up with people in tears. Now here's the nuance behind the data. Male dogs tend to position themselves closer to the door the owner left through, and dogs in multi-dog households stay generally more active than solo dogs. Dogs with genuine separation anxiety show a very different pattern entirely, with peak distress hitting inside the first 30 minutes. But for the majority of dogs, the truth turns out to be much quieter than anyone expected. They are not destroying your house, they are enduring your absence, lying somewhere that smells like you, oriented toward the door you'll eventually walk back through. That is not boredom. That is loyalty with nowhere to go. Number 4, your dog tracks time with their nose. You've probably heard someone say that dogs have no sense of time, and that claim turns out to be completely wrong. Dogs absolutely track time. They just don't use a clock. They use your smell. When you leave the house, your scent sits at its strongest. As the hours pass, That scent fades gradually, steadily, and predictably. Your dog's nose tracks that decay, and over time, through sheer repetition, they learn that a certain level of fading corresponds to the moment you usually come home. To your dog, your fading scent can work almost like a countdown timer. That explains why so many dogs appear at the door or window minutes before their owner pulls into the driveway, even when the owner comes home at irregular times. It looks like a sixth sense, but the reality is a 250 million receptor nose reading the dissipation curve of your body chemistry. And the strangest part is this. One informal experiment showed that if someone refreshes the owner's scent in the house, say by rubbing their worn clothing around the rooms, the dog underestimates how long the owner has been gone. The internal countdown resets, and the dog doesn't go to the door at the usual time. If that doesn't convince you that your dog may be running an internal scent clock every single day you leave, nothing will. Stay with me, because number 5 is where this gets confirmed with hard data, and it answers a question every dog owner has asked at least once. Number 5, they greet you differently based on how long you were gone. This is one of the cleanest studies in canine behavioral science, and it answers the question head on. Does your dog know whether you were gone 30 minutes or 4 hours? Yes, definitively yes. 12 privately owned dogs, none with a history of separation problems, were video recorded after being left alone for 3 different durations: 30 minutes, 2 hours, and 4 hours. The study was published in Applied Animal Behavior Science in 2011. After 2-hour and 4-hour absences, dogs displayed significantly more intense greeting behavior than after the 30-minute separation, with more tail wagging, more physical contact, more lip licking, more body shaking, and more initiation of interaction across the board. The dogs could tell the difference. What stands out most is that heart rate didn't change significantly between the durations, meaning the difference was entirely behavioral. They weren't more physically stressed after 4 hours, they were more emotionally activated because the reunion mattered more when the wait had been longer. So the next time your dog loses their mind when you walk in after a long day, understand what you're actually seeing. That reaction is calibrated and proportional, and it is not the same greeting they'd give you after a quick trip to the mailbox. They measured the absence, and they are telling you with their entire body exactly how long it felt. If this is changing how you think about your dog, hit subscribe, because number 7 puts all of this into a completely different light. Number 6, your stress follows them even after you leave. This one is hard to hear, but you need to know it. 58 dog-human pairs participated in a 2019 study out of Linköping University in Sweden that measured hair cortisol concentrations over several months. Hair cortisol captures long-term stress, not a single bad afternoon, but the accumulated weight of weeks and months. What the researchers found was that dogs' long-term cortisol levels synchronized with their owners. High-stress owner meant high-stress dog, and low-stress owner meant low-stress dog, across seasons and across time. And here's the part nobody saw coming. The owner's personality, not the dog's personality, drove the dog's stress levels. The dog's own temperament had almost no measurable effect on the outcome. Your dog is not stressed because of who they are. They are stressed because of who you are. That synchronization grew even stronger in dogs who trained or competed with their owners, and in female dogs especially. When you rush out the door in the morning already anxious about your day, that energy doesn't vanish when the door closes. Your dog has been absorbing it, and your cortisol is, in a very real biochemical sense, already running through their system. This is not a metaphor, and it is not projection. This is interspecies emotional contagion measured in hair follicles over months. And the researchers called it the first demonstration of long-term stress synchronization between 2 different species. Your dog is not just waiting for you to come home. They're carrying what you left behind. Number 7, your scent lights up their brain's reward center, and when you return, they cry. This is the one I told you to stay for. A team of neuroscientists at Emory University accomplished something no one had done before. They trained 12 dogs to lie completely still, fully awake, unrestrained, and unsedated inside an fMRI brain scanner. Every prior brain imaging study on living dogs had required sedation, but this team trained the dogs to volunteer for it. Each dog received 5 cents on gauze pads: a familiar human, an unfamiliar human, a familiar dog, an unfamiliar dog, and the dog's own scent. The researchers watched what happened inside the caudate nucleus, the part of the brain tied to positive expectations and reward, the same region that lights up in humans when they anticipate something they love. Out of all 5 scents, only one produced maximum activation in the caudate: the familiar human. Not the familiar dog, and not the dog's own scent, but the person. And what makes this finding hit harder is that the familiar human whose scent they used was not even present during the experiment. The dog's reward center fired for someone who wasn't in the room. Your dog's brain is wired to anticipate you, and even when you are not there, the trace of you triggers something that looks a lot like joy. And then there's what happens at the reunion. A study published in Current Biology in 2022 found that dogs' eyes produce more tears when reunited with their owners than with familiar non-owners. And the increase appears driven by oxytocin, the bonding hormone. That finding marked the first scientific evidence that positive emotions cause tear production in a non-human animal. Your dog cries when you come home, not loudly, not dramatically, but measurably and chemically, with real tears triggered by the same hormone that bonds a mother to her infant. So think about what the full picture looks like now. They predicted your departure before you moved. They searched the house to confirm you were gone. They lay down and waited, oriented toward your door. They tracked your fading scent like a clock counting down to your return. They measured exactly how long you were away. They carried your stress in their own body. And when that door finally opened again, their brain lit up with reward, their eyes filled with tears, and every second of the wait turned out to be worth it. That is what your dog does when you leave, every single time. If this video changed the way you see your dog, share it with someone who leaves their dog every morning and has no idea what happens after that door closes. Subscribe to Dog Bond so you never miss what we uncover next. And drop a comment right now. After everything you just heard, what is the first thing you're going to do differently tomorrow morning when you walk out that door? I'll see you in the next one.